So what are the risks with these assumptions? The risk with these assumptions is that same selling price may not be hold good at the different quantity levels. Sometimes to increase the sales, we have to give the discounts or we have to give bulk discounts. So means we may not be able to sell a very high quality, very high quantity at exactly the same price. There are in the real life there are different business channels. For hotels we are selling on OTA, we are selling corporate, we are selling direct walk-in rates, travel agents. So the rates are quite different. So that we are not able to use the same selling price. So we cannot use the standard selling price as a measure. So we need to estimate what would be the average selling price. But average selling price would depend on the business combination, the contribution of each individual distribution channel, promotion channel, different products that we are serving. So the average selling price may not remain the same throughout the future. So it's going to be very difficult, especially when we are selling larger quantities. The selling price might have to be reduced. Variable costs at different production level are also different because of economies of scale or lower or higher waste during low production. So when you are producing only one quantity to quantity, then the waste during the production will be much higher than compared to the production of 100 quantities. Because you can have economies of scale, you will be able to bargain the supply chain raw material at a lower cost because you are buying in bulk. So these are the real factors that are put into the assumptions. Fixed costs may also not remain the same. It may increase significantly for any marginal quantity. If let's say your restaurant has 10 seats, 10 chairs, then extra unit, extra guest will need extra cost. So the fixed cost will increase. So or the rental may increase because of the additional space that you may want for your additional number of guests. So or the number of servers may increase because of the additional number of tables that you are going to put. But those may not be sustainable, but you need a fixed cost. So the fixed cost may also not remain the same, but it can significantly jump up because of the marginal increase in the production or sales. The semi-variable costs are the reality, but it may be very difficult to estimate how much portion of the cost is variable and how much portion is going to be fixed. And it may also depend on the level of production and level of services. So will these so many assumptions, and then there are multiple revenue streams with no relevance to each other, but they are sharing the resources. For example, in a hotel you may be selling rooms plus the banquet space plus the restaurant space, which are where the outside customers are coming in. So they are all three different, but using the same resources of electricity, managers, and other rental of the buildings. So how you gonna calculate the break-even point? Only one. So you will not have one break-even point. You will have multiple business level for each different or each different revenue stream. Maybe you have to assume, okay, I need to sell 100 rooms plus certain banquet level, certain restaurant level, so that I can have a break-even. So in the reality, the break-even point is not one, it's a combination of different levels. So you need to make those assumptions in calculating the break-even point. In the real life, because the revenue streams are different and they are sharing the resources, so you may have to assume certain relationship with them, or identify a relationship to make your calculations simpler. But those simple calculations may not be 100% correct and may not give you the right picture of your business break-even point. But with these limitations in assumptions, the break-even points are really only serve as a guidance, not as a fixed rule. So what is sensitivity analysis? So sensitivity analysis usually recognize the validity of decisions based on depend on the validity of underlying assumptions. So if we are making assumption our price gonna remain at $10, what is the sensitivity if our assumption is wrong by 5%? How much it will impact on the break-even point? Will it turn into a loss? or not. So that is called sensitivity. How much change in our assumption will result into the change of outcome, i.e. our break-even point or our profitability. It requires the decision maker to identify the assumption and then test them through what if scenarios. So what if scenarios are usually how much my decision point or break-even point will change if I change the estimate in assumption. How does the change affect the overall result? Or what is the minor changes in the assumption represent the sensitive variable. So we're gonna look at the Excel template to see how this will work. So let's look at the sensitivity. One example in the that we have been discussing in the previous chapter of the Sebastian's Dinner Theater, where revenue was 30, variable cost was 10. So the contribution margin was $20 and fixed costs were 2,000. So break-even point was 100. Now we want to understand what if the price decreased by 5% or increased by 10%. How much break-even point will change? What if the variable cost increase or decrease by 10% or 20, 15%? What if fixed cost increase by 10% or 15%? So let us go back to the Excel and let's look at the sensitivity analysis there.